get your friends. Go call your friends. Go tweet your friends. Hey guys, welcome to Tea Talks with Taaka, and I am your host, Dr. T, also known as AKA Dr. Cash. And today we will be talking about the top 10 mental illnesses that are out there. And for all of you guys that don't know, I am a board certified psychiatric nurse practitioner, proudly a doctor of nursing practice from Vanderbilt University. And hello to all my phenomenal sorors that are out there. So guys, as you know, in the African American community, we assign a lot of different names, okay? We assign a lot of different names to these mental illnesses that are out there, and y'all, we need to do better, okay? We need to do better. Let me give y'all some examples, okay? So y'all got a family member, and y'all ever heard somebody say, you know what, Joe, he just not quite right. He ain't all himself, That ain't a diagnosis or illness, okay? Or have you had somebody say, you know what, he crazy. He just crazy, okay? He crazy, delusional. That's not an illness, okay? Or you can say, girl, I don't know what wrong with him. He just, okay? He just is not... He just is not an illness. We have got to do better with normalizing mental health conversations surrounding what the accurate terminology is. And I am here to help you with that, okay? So, as you guys know, mental illness is basically, in layman terms, a person who has limitations, whether it be cognitive, whether it be behavioral, and or thought process, okay? And so a lot of disorders that are out there, we may not necessarily know what they are. I don't even know what they got, but they got some. You know what I'm saying? Who to help? Who to help? Girl, he need help. Girl, did you know girl, look at how she dressed this week. Look. So guys, I'm going to show y'all and I'm going to teach y'all how to find out if somebody actually got depression, bipolar disorder, if they got delusion or something like that. So y'all ain't got to use terminology like they crazy. Sometimes depression can look like this. Yeah, smiling while suffering. So first we're going to start out with anxiety disorders. So you ever had a person that's out there and they're just like, you know what? I'm real fidgety right now, you know what I'm saying? Oh, my heart, just palpitating, and I feel like I can't breathe, you know what I'm saying? All these people, Coco, you too close, Coco, you too close. I feel like, it's like a ball of energy that's in my stomach and I cannot get rid of it. That's anxiety, guys. Behavioral and emotional disorders in children. Y'all ever had a kid that everybody want to, they go to first grade and second grade and the teacher send you that report home like, girl, he bad. He bad. What's wrong with him? Okay? He bad. They just assign our kids with the terminology of being he bad or she bad. B-A-D. That's not an emotion. That is not a trait. What are you saying about my child? What you talking about? Lil Jojo, what you talking about? Explain what you saying. So when you're looking at emotional disorders in children, you want to look at their behavior. And a lot of the times, children, they will actually grow out of it. Kids are supposed to be hyper. They're supposed to run around. They're supposed to be rambunctious. Don't limit them and or assign or have someone to assign a diagnosis or illness to your child without following your child for a certain period of time. So when you come to a board certified clinician like myself, that's what we do. We determine if there's any type of emotional dysregulation in the child. We look and see if there's any attentive disorders or things like that. But we do not assign, we're not quick to assign kids diagnoses because that can follow them for the rest of their lives. So please be very, very, very cautious of someone who wanting to slap something onto your child and telling you to go on to a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a board certified psychiatric nurse practitioner. Bipolar. Bipolar. Woo! Y'all ever had somebody in your circle? And there are a lot of people out here who may have this, okay? And the person may not necessarily want you to know that they have a mood disorder. A lot of people who have mood dysregulation disorders, they don't want people to know. They try to blend in. And so because of that overcompensation, it actually starts to, shift them and their emotional distresses a little bit more. So when you have bipolar disorder, you either got, scale 1 or scale 2, okay? And so because you got scale 1 or scale 2, you come to a person like me so we can figure it out. If a person is easily distracted, they're irritable, they have guilt, they have excessive spending, they're very impulsive, their thoughts are going 50 miles per hour. So a person who has bipolar disorder, when you're talking to them, they're going like this: oh my gosh, girl, I went and got some books, and then, Coco went to the store, and then next thing you know, we bought some balloons. Valentine's Day is coming up, and then we went down the street, and then, I saw this guy, he had this green jacket on. Girl, your edges look so good. What type of edge control you use? Wait, hold on. Just a second, okay? And or you may have a person that's very despondent, a person who's very sad, a person who's very somber, a person who is also still distracted and has poor concentration. They may have thoughts of wanting to harm themselves or other people. And so they may have guilt, thoughts of worthlessness, hopelessness, helplessness, things like that, inadequacy. They're very despondent. They're on that low end spectrum of depression. So you come to a board certified clinician like myself so that we can actually diagnose you appropriately when it comes to bipolar disorder. Dissociation, dissociative disorders. So y'all remember that movie? There's a good movie out there that's called Precious. Y'all remember that movie? Y'all remember that movie, Precious? Where Monique was there, and Monique was sitting back, and she was like, so, you just gonna eat my chicken? You just gonna eat my chicken? So it's kind of like that. So basically, if you watch that movie, I love the movie Precious, because the movie Precious actually is a great, I think every diagnosis you could think of is in the movie Precious. So with dissociative disorders, a person is just going to a safe place in their mind to protect themselves. Okay. And it's almost equivalent to having an out-of-body experience. Okay. If they've had any type of trauma, post-traumatic stress, sexual traumas, if they've been sexually molested as a child, you can see a lot of that. But you go to board certified clinicians so that we can diagnose you appropriately when it comes to dissociation. But watch the movie Precious, and you will see some of the top 10 illnesses that I'm talking about in this one movie alone. You'll see depression. You'll see bipolar disorder. You'll see PTSD. You'll see dissociation. You will see it all in that one movie, okay? Also, we have eating disorders. So a lot of eating disorders that are out there. So you may have anorexia nervosa, you may have bulimia, you may have other eating disorders, restriction. So you go to board certified clinicians and or a nutritionist and or a eating specialist. That is not my area of expertise. So I send them to an eating specialist, simply because a lot of people like to think of eating disorders as almost like, the person has a problem, but no, it's actually an illness. And so we have to treat it accordingly, and they have to go to board certified clinicians and or persons that may be trained in this area. Okay. The next thing we have is obsessive compulsive disorder. So if you have a person that excessively touches stuff, you know what? I got to go to the door. I got to touch Coco. I got to go out there. You know what? I'm going to grab my purse and I'm going to do it 3 times. You know what? I'm going to go over there and touch some balloons right there. I'm a 1, 2, 3. They're very repetitive. Or you walk into their house and you're like, you mean I got to sit right here in this one spot? This one spot. Yes, girl. I clean, child, all day, like 10 hours. Why you cleaning 10 hours a day? Okay. So those are some things that you actually look at when you're looking at that particular disorder. When you're thinking about paranoia, guys, okay, so I think we all subconsciously are paranoid to some extent. Guilty, raise your hand if you are. You go to Walmart, or you go to, Sam's Club, or you go to even at the gas station, we looking around like, Coco, you see that dude over there? No, you see that dude? You know what I'm saying? You really just, you subconsciously are thinking that way. But paranoia can take over your thought process and start to show outside of itself. So people can actually think that they're someone that they're not. They can think that they're the president. They can think that, somebody's trying to put thoughts into their heads or take their thoughts out. They may have paranoia related to guilt. There's persecutory. There's just a lot of different paranoias and delusions that are out there. And you have to come to a qualified, trained professional for us to determine and to assess what level of paranoia and or delusion that the person is going to. Don't try to interfere, okay? If Uncle Jojo saying that, they on my yard, and you looking outside and you don't see no they, call trained professionals, call 911 quickly, okay? And let them handle Uncle Jojo. Do not interfere with people paranoia in their delusions, because I'm trying to tell you that you could end up, a part of the crime. And we're not trying to do that, okay? So save yourself. And with any of these disorders that can happen, don't put yourself on the line for someone else's disorder. Do not do that. Okay, do not sacrifice yourself. There's a difference. And I try to train family members on how to disconnect themselves from trying to be the saver and also be the person's support system. There is a difference. Okay, you allow us clinicians to step in to be able to foster that person through their transition, because if you're trying to be their saver and also their support system, then you end up in a codependent situation, and that right there is not healthy at all. So we try to avoid that at all costs, and we want to make sure that the person, that you don't lose a couple people to one illness. That's not what we want to do. That's not what we want to do. Right, Coco? Coco says yes. We do not want to lose the whole community. We do not want to lose the whole household to one person's disease process. That is not how it works, okay? Post-traumatic stress disorder. Oh, my God. We all have gone through COVID. Enough said, okay? There's a such thing that's called complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So make sure that you look that up. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder, okay? You're having nightmares, night terrors. You cannot sleep at night. You're like jittery and you're jumpy. Look it up. I'm trying to tell you guys, okay? Because it's real. It is real. Last year was so real. And 2020 rolled over into 2021, and it is just still 2021. Okay, so make sure that if you're suffering from any type of trauma that's related to COVID, the loss of a parent, you could, it could even be a sexual trauma, or even, work-related stress trauma. Let me tell you something, work can cause PTSD, stress, anxiety, depression, disassociation. Woo! Don't sometimes you be at work, you be like, I'm on an island. I'm on an island. Because I got to be on this island in order to protect myself and my sanity. That is what you're doing. Psychosis is where the person may be hearing things, seeing things that are not there. Allow a qualified professional to diagnose the person appropriately. Also, we have schizophrenia. And schizophrenia, you will know it when you see it. That's a person that may also have the paranoia and also the delusions with a little dash of extra stuff that's in there. They may also have depression in there. That's also known as schizoaffective disorder. So there are a lot of disorders that are out there, and we want to make sure that you go to qualified professionals to diagnose you appropriately. Do not be at home talking about Uncle Joe ain't quite right, and then you wait until Uncle Joe actually does something to the family in order for you to call for help. That is a no-no, okay? We want to make sure that we're preventative, that we're mitigating on the front end to protect the person and also you from any harms and or dangers that may be out there. Listen, I know that I just went over a lot of information. And because I've gone over a lot of information, I want to make sure that you guys know where to go to find me. So if you need to go and find me, make sure that you're going to www.psychosis, psychconnectonline.com. That's www.psychconnectonline.com. If you want to follow me on Facebook, go to Dr. Taaka AKA DNP, and make sure you bring your friends on over to the yard. Guys, if you want to follow me on YouTube, go to Tea Talk with Taaka.